What's up, guys? This is your boy Michael Velasquez, and a new podcast episode of Mysteries of Michigan has just been out. And this episode is going to be different than the other two, so this is really cool. Be sure to subscribe to him on Podbean. He also has a new Twitter home of Mysteries of Michigan. It's at Mysteries of Michigan. Be sure to follow that on Twitter. Um, I have nothing else to say, so you sit back and enjoy. Thank you.
No one sarf Nagashimbazi or Simsi Sin Sisalamat Swahri Mea Mysteries of Michigan. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mysteries of Michigan. I am your host Tom Velasquez, and we're going to put this kit together pretty quick. Pretty interesting things happening out there right now, and I wanted to jump the gun and bring out another show pretty quick. I'm going to call this my Doom and Gloom episode. To be honest with you, I originally recorded this show earlier in the day, and boy, I got depressed listening to it, and my tone of voice was bad, and I just got depressed, and I didn't want you guys to be depressed. I just want you guys to know what's going on out there. So this show is not going to revolve around Michigan per se. In the description, and like I mentioned before, we're not going to revolve always around Michigan. We're going to go off of the state borders and talk about United States and even the world. And this is one of these shows where I'm going to talk about what's going on in the world right now. And we're going to start off by talking about Fukushima in Japan. And unless you've been living under a rock over the last couple of years, you will know in March of 2011 a magnitude 8.9 earthquake hit Japan, and the resulting tsunami inundated the countryside. Well, part of that countryside was a little nuclear power plant called Fukushima, or in Fukushima, and it was severely damaged. Now, what the mainstream media is not telling you, and what we're finding out slowly but surely, is this is turning into a nightmare of horrific proportions. And why is that? Quite simply, we might be talking nuclear meltdown here. So let me kind of clue you in as to what's going on. Fukushima has 6 reactors. You have 4 right on the coast, 2 sitting higher up on the hill. Reactors on the day of the earthquake and tsunami, reactors 1, 2, and 3 were down for normal maintenance. Reactors 4 and 5 were in the process of getting maintenance, and 5 and 6 were in the process of getting maintenance, and reactor 4 was down. They took all the cooling out of the fuel rods, or cooling water out of the fuel rods. Well, when the earthquake hit, the reactors 1, 2, and 3 had the emergency generators kick on. Great, that works out fine, doing what they're supposed to. The problem is you had a little thing called a tsunami follow that. And that tsunami came over the seawall and basically fried the generators that were sitting in low-lying areas. Now, this earthquake had done damage to the reactor number 4. However, reactors 1, 2, 3, and 4, because they were basically underpowered, they had a buildup of hydrogen and steam and blew their outer casings, exposing the reactor to the elements. So that's where it begins. The Tokyo Electric Power Company, or TEPCO, has been put in charge of fixing this problem. And to be honest with you, they have come out and basically said, we have no idea how to fix this problem. This problem is unprecedented. Nowhere in the world, in the history of the world, have we ever had a problem as big as this. But yet here it is. What is going on is the reactors are leaking. And they're leaking radiation into the ground, which is then seeping into the groundwater, which is therefore seeping into the Pacific Ocean. At this time, they have millions and millions of tons of radiated water flowing into the Pacific Ocean. As of 2 years ago, 56% of all the fish caught off the coast of Japan had tested positive for radiation poisoning, or radiation. Basically, they're being radiated. Off the coast of California, they're finding starfish that are literally melting. The tsunami swept multiple items into the sea. These items are floating across the ocean and winding up on the west coast of the United States and Canada. Well, people are now starting to get smart in testing these for radiation, and lo and behold, they're radiated. There is I don't even know what you'd call it, a floating island. From everything I've heard, it's as big as Connecticut of debris in the middle of the Pacific Ocean floating towards the west coast of North America. This is crazy, guys. So, we've got irradiated water coming, or just seeping into the Pacific Ocean, killing, who knows what it's doing to the sea life there. But the problem is, a lot of our fishing comes from, or a lot of what we eat comes from the Pacific Ocean. Yellowfin tuna, I wouldn't eat it at all. If you eat any type of tuna, any type of seafood, and it even remotely has a chance of coming from the Pacific Ocean, don't eat it. It's gonna be poison. We know that there's radiated water flowing into the Pacific Ocean at an alarming rate, and they can't stop it. They are taking some of the radiated water, putting them in tanks that are now leaking, and they're leaking that radiated water back into the ground so it can flow back into the ocean. This is just an absolute cluster. So, what is going to happen? Well, these spent fuel rods have to be removed. The best analogy that I've heard come up with is using a pack of cigarettes. Fuel rods are in 60 or 70 at one time. If you picture the fuel rods as in a pack of cigarettes, if the cigarette pack is new, you can grab the cigarette, pull it out nice and easy. However, if the pack is crumpled or bent in one way, shape, or form, you pull on that cigarette, and what's going to happen? That cigarette's going to break in half. Well, picture that Fukushima, especially reactor number 4, which is severely damaged. Picture that as a cigarette pack, and the fuel rods as the cigarettes. They have to be removed, but the problem is, if you pull one out, they're going to break, and when they break, they release plutonium, which is the most toxic material on Earth. Trace amounts of that will kill a person in a heartbeat. The biggest problem that we have here is that TEPCO, again the Tokyo Electric Power Company, does not even know where the cores of these reactors are. In other words, they're sitting there heating up and they continue to melt through what they're sitting on. Eventually, what's going to happen, they're going to melt through, they're going to reach where the groundwater is, and it's like putting a hot piece of metal, a scalding red hot piece of metal into water. What happens? Steam. Steam arises. Well, that's what happens. It hits the groundwater, steam builds up, and it will blow. It can't take it anymore, and the reactor will blow up. When that blows up, every ounce of radiation that's in those rods in that reactor is blown into the atmosphere. And at that point, you can take the country or the island of Japan and just put an X through it. It's done. If it's not already, it's done now. This is almost, from what I've been reading, what I've been hearing, this is almost an inevitable occurrence. It took 2 years for the Tokyo Electric Power Company to even agree to have people from other countries come and help them. Well, these people are coming in saying, there's nothing we can do. This thing's far too gone. God help us if there's another earthquake, because it's only going to take a magnitude 4 or 5 earthquake, and the already damaged reactors are going to give out. And once these things collapse, it takes everything with it, and boom, there it goes. So what happens when it explodes? We all know Japan's gone, but the problem is everything goes east. So all that radiated air gets thrown right in the air and goes east towards the North American shores. And just a great thought for us of Michigan. They've already found trace amounts of radiation in the air and in the ground. Is that linked to Fukushima? What else could it be linked to? You don't have radiation just floating around. You've got radiation being thrown in the atmosphere and thrown in the ground. And it's only got one place to go, east. And guess who's east, guys? We are. Again, this is almost an inevitable occurrence that's going to happen. This thing is going to blow. There's nothing they can do to stop it. They don't know how to stop it. They keep pouring water on it, and all they're doing is radiating the water that they're pouring on it. They're running out of places to put this radiated water. The government in Japan has admitted to lying about the severity of this issue. They said it was safe. They've had people moving back into the area. The radiation in that area is going to be there for thousands of years. The area around Fukushima is dead. If you're old enough to remember Chernobyl in Russia, that occurred in, I believe it was 1986, maybe? It was early to mid 80s. A reactor blew up in Chernobyl. And it wasn't nearly as bad as Fukushima is now. And that place you still can't go into without fear of radiation or radiation poisoning. And they say Fukushima is 14 times worse just now. But guess what, people? You're not hearing that from the mainstream media. You're hearing that everything's all right. There's a Fox News article today on FoxNews.com saying that the FDA has only found one piece of irradiated food. It was a ginger powder, had trace amounts of cesium in it. Complete and utter lie. Complete and utter lie. I don't understand, and it's so frustrating to me why these people cannot tell the truth. With the amount of radiation being thrown into the air and the amount of radiation flowing through the groundwater, you can't tell me that you're not going to get this stuff radiated. The farmers in Japan know that this stuff is radiated. They know that it's not safe to eat. They won't eat it. But yet they expect us to buy the fact that everything's safe, everything's fine. If you think your government doesn't lie to you, think again, people. Government does nothing but lie to you. They may have their reasons. They may think, oh, they can't handle the truth. I'd rather be slapped in the face with the truth than caressed with a lie. Tell me the truth and let me handle it. That's what I'm finding out now on the Fukushima thing. Does it scare me? Hell yes, it scares me. Everybody I know and love is in this area. And it's only going to come here. And it's going to come, if it's not already. How much do we not know that's happening? My advice to you, don't listen to the mainstream media. Don't listen to your CNNs, your Fox News, your ABCs, your NBCs, CBS. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what you're being told or what they want you to hear. Go online, find some obscure websites. They may not look like a lot, but you know what? That's where you're going to get most of your truth. And it's going to take some time to differentiate between the bull crap and the truth, but you know what? Eventually you're going to. And you'll be better for it. So keep an eye on this Fukushima thing. It's going to get pretty nasty. I don't know exactly when and exactly how it's going to happen, but everything I'm reading, everything I'm hearing, it's inevitable. It's going to melt down, and when it does, it's going to be pretty bad. So that's my first bit of good news today for you. So we're going to take a break and listen to some guy trying to sell you a book. So we'll be right back. Coming soon from the host of Mysteries of Michigan, the as yet untitled zombie apocalypse novel set in the state of Michigan. Follow Mike Locke on his journey through the backwoods, the wilderness, and government quarantine areas of mid-Michigan as he tries to save his family from an upcoming zombie horde. Coming soon to all ebook readers. Okay. So that's the guy selling you the book. Hopefully that'll be out soon. Long way to go on it though, so I'll keep you informed on it. Alright, my next little thing. This was going to be my lead story, but seeing that we're a day after Thanksgiving and a lot has happened to it since then, I kind of just doing a little segment on it. It amazes me, talking to even my family over Thanksgiving, which was yesterday at the time of this broadcast, it amazes me how many people have never heard of this comet Ison. It's all over if you're looking at the right spot. Again, in the mainstream media, you're not hearing anything about it. Maybe that's a bad thing. But Comet Ison is supposed to be the quote-unquote comet of the century. When it rounds the sun and is heading towards the planet Earth, we're supposed to be able to see this thing in broad daylight, and it's supposed to be 15 times brighter than the moon. You're not going to need binoculars. You're going to be able to see this thing with just your naked eye, and that's exciting. That's so exciting to me. I would love to see that. So Thanksgiving Day, it was supposed to make its trip around the moon, around the sun. Well, early reports was, oh boy, Comet Ison didn't make it. It got taken and tore apart by the sun. So I was kind of bummed. I really wanted to see that comet. But part of me was pretty relieved. And why was I relieved is there was a lot of weird stuff going on with this Comet Ison. As it passed Mars, Mars recorded a huge volcanic eruption. Then it passed one of Jupiter's moons. Lo and behold, that moon recorded a large volcanic eruption. Currently, on this planet, in the Ring of Fire, which basically rings the Pacific Ocean, great, what's in the Pacific Ocean? Japan, Fukushima. Currently, there are 35 active volcanoes. That's a lot of volcanoes that are active. The scariest part about that is a lot of people are unaware. In Yellowstone National Park, they call it the caldera. It's basically a super volcano that has been dormant for thousands and thousands of years. But all of a sudden, the ground has been raised by 12 inches, and there's a lot of rumbling going on in Yellowstone. people are now becoming worried that this super volcano is going to become active. And why does that worry you? The general thinking on that is if that super volcano erupts, we are done. Even conservative estimates is the amount of ash that will be strewn over the northern hemisphere will be 6 feet deep, and it will usher in another ice age as the sun around the globe will not show itself for months, if not years, at a time. So that is a worry. But as Comet Ison rounded the sun yesterday on Thanksgiving, they kept waiting for it to come around the other side. And early initial reports were, oh, Comet Ison didn't make it. So again, I was disappointed but yet happy. Well, today being November 29th, now the reports are, whoa, wait a minute, Comet Ison just might have made it. It got beat up a little, but it made its way around the sun. So we got Comet Ison coming, guys. Comet Ison should be visible in the daytime sky coming up soon. Now, I'm sure this thing got beat up pretty darn good, and I don't think it's got any of the worries, volcanic-wise, that I originally was worried about. However, what I do worry about is on December 31st, it passes Earth, and after that, Earth then flies through Comet Ison's debris field. Again, what you're not seeing in the mainstream media is all of the quote-unquote fireballs flying through the air all over the world. Many of you have seen the video footage of the meteorite that had exploded over Russia last year. Millions of dollars worth of damage, numerous injuries. Well, what you're not hearing is Quebec, Greece, just recently had the same exact thing happen. But in this age of video cameras and YouTube, you can now go online and find out that these fireballs are happening all over the place. And this is unprecedented, the amount that people are seeing. And a lot of people are attributing this to Comet Ison. And if this is a prelude of what's going to happen, we haven't even begun to go through this thing's debris field. And if this thing took a beating going around the sun, this thing's probably dumping a lot of junk off of it. And we're just going to ride right into it. So, a little bit of Comet Ison info right there for you. Again, I don't know what's going to happen with this. This may be nothing. We may not, this thing may have got beat up so bad we may not even be able to see it. It was a half mile to 3/4 of a mile wide before it went around the sun, and we have no idea what's happening to it after it got around the sun. So keep looking at the news, and again, don't look at the mainstream media. They're not going to tell you what's going on. Look at your obscure websites. Look at your conspiracy sites. This show's about conspiracies, and you would be amazed how many conspiracies have actually come out to be true. So look at those sites. You're going to get a lot more truth out of those people than you are on the mainstream media. So, well, we're going to, before we end the show, I've got to pay the bills here, and I've got a little promo from Prism. You might have heard it last time, but here she goes again. Again, if you have paranormal activity, please call these guys. Speaking as I know the group real well since I founded it, we do a very good job. So we'll talk to you in just a bit.
The Paranormal Research and Investigative Society of Michigan is a family-operated paranormal research group based out of mid-Michigan. Formed in 2010, PRISM has conducted numerous investigations that have yielded some very interesting results. With a team of true believers and skeptics alike, PRISM assures you of the most comprehensive and accurate investigation possible. If you feel you are having paranormal activity or any activity you cannot explain, please contact PRISM at 989-413-0430, or you can find them on Facebook at PRISOM. As with any PRISM investigation, yours will be done free of charge, and all steps will be taken to ensure your privacy. Again, if you have any paranormal activity or activity you cannot explain, please contact PRISM at 989-413-0430 or find them on Facebook. PRISM, the Paranormal Research and Investigative Society of Michigan, serving Mid-Michigan and beyond.
And we are back. So, gosh, this was a depressing podcast, guys. I'm sorry, but I think you really need to know about it. I'm going to give you the information, just the basics of it. It's up to you guys if you want to know more, and I really think you should. There's a lot going on out there that you're not hearing about, but I promise the next show will be a little bit more upbeat. I just wanted to get this one out there because I'm really worried about what's going on, and I want you guys to be informed, and I want you guys to be ready, and know that what you're hearing on the news is not really what's going on. You need to become your own advocate and find out yourself what's going on, and it really enlightens you, I've found out, and I think it makes you a better person. It makes you more intelligent, I know that. You don't want to be a zombie roaming around listening to the mainstream media and listening to what they have to say and believing everything they say. It's not true, but I don't even want to begin to turn this into a political rant right now, so I'll just end it there. Again, thank you very much for listening, and the next show should be coming out pretty soon. I want to get these out much sooner than the last time. I'm still trying to figure out this new program I've got. I've got to figure it out. I think it's working out pretty good, but we'll let you decide. So, again, till next time, I appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.